students, welcome back to class. Grab a vegan snack, veggies, fruits, nuts, and seeds, put them in front of you, eat them up. They're good and healthy, especially whole foods. Yes, you're allowed to eat in class. Today we're going to listen to this guy named VegCeps. He's going to be explaining to us about white veganism because you guys have been asking me what it is. So I thought that I would have some fun and listen to his video where he's talking about it, and I can evaluate his video. So we're going to do that together. Hi, Bella. What you got? You want to come say hi? Come here. Want to say hi? No? She's got her ball. You want to say hi? What you going to do? Go lie down on the bed if you want. Okay, we're going to go for a walk in about 15 minutes, okay? All right. We have a little day bed here that Bella sleeps on, and she watches me do videos. Okay, Bella is my vegan dog, by the way. She's been vegan since August 2017. She's doing great. I've been vegan since June 27th, 2016. So right now it is April, so we're going to come up to 5 years for me pretty soon and 4 years for her. And okay, let's get right into this. Get your notepads ready, everybody. We're going to be grading VegCeps on his presentation. Good or bad? What is it like? We know he's vegan, but you know, vegans make mistakes, and well, let's see. Let's see how he does. Guys ready? Okay.
Thanks for tuning in to another one of my videos, and I hope you guys are all doing well. Today I wanted to discuss the term known as white veganism, which has been thrown around by a couple of intersectional vegans on the internet. I'm going to play a video that explains what white veganism is, and I'm going to jump through the video and just debunk all the claims.
When you fail to account for white supremacy and veganism, you get white veganism.
Okay, so he's going to debunk them. So he doesn't think that white veganism is a thing. So let's listen.
Apparently, white veganism is not accounting for white supremacy in the vegan movement. Now, the reason why this phrase already contradicts itself is because not only white vegans fall guilty to only speaking about animal rights.
White veganism focuses solely on animal liberation while ignoring the context of colonization and imperialism and how all of this impacts all living beings and the planet.
The next claim was that white veganism focuses solely on animal liberation while ignoring every other injustice. That's not white veganism. According to every single definition of veganism you can find, that's the definition of regular veganism. Focusing on animal liberation because that's what veganism has always been about, reducing harm to animals.
Okay, good points. Let's give him a check for that. He understands what veganism is about. It's not about food. It's not about the environment. It's not about your health. It's about the animals and only about the animals. Doing our best for them. Now, of course, as a consequence, if we want to do what's best for the animals, we have to take care of the environment, right? But that is because we all live in this interdependent web of existence. And so we take care of the animals and where they live.
So I find it very narcissistic that these intersectional vegans will try and use compassionate vegans to speak up to their own movement.
Not all white people vegans are white vegans.
And the next claim that was made said, not all white people vegans are white vegans, which is odd because all white people vegans are in fact white vegans, but just not by your definition because you made up the term white vegan to fit something that it's really not, something that doesn't exist. A vegan who focuses only on animal rights, which is what a vegan is supposed to do. We're not civil rights activists, and just because...
Exactly. Vegans are supposed to focus on the animals because that's the definition. Of course. They can also focus on all kinds of other human rights issues about the environment and everything. But a vegan, according to the definition, is somebody who cares about the animals. That's what the Vegan Society states. Somebody who does their best at all times in everyday choices to make sure that they don't pay for the exploitation of these animals. So vegans don't go to zoos, they don't go to SeaWorld, they don't wear leather, they don't wear fur, they don't wear wool, they don't buy honey, they don't ride horses because they don't want to exploit animals. They don't buy animals from pet stores. They take care of animals in their homes who were going to be killed or exploited. They save animals, but it's about the animals.
We care about animal rights, it doesn't mean we have to focus on any other injustice.
Our veganism must be intersectional, accessible, anti-racist, anti-imperialist, and decolonized.
And the last claim says that our veganism must be intersectional, accessible, anti-racist, and anti-imperialist, and decolonized. Now, this brings me to a really important point. If I'm vegan now, and if I were to quit being vegan tomorrow, would that make me any less obligated to be non-racist, anti-imperialist, decolonized, or all of those things? So just because I quit being vegan, would that make me any more obligated to support any other form of injustice? Because when we say things like this, that's kind of what it's making it seem like. Like, just because you're vegan, you have to tap into every other injustice and talk about that. But when you're not vegan, you don't have to. You know?
Okay, so this is an interesting point. The truth is, you can be a racist and you can be vegan. I don't suggest it, but it's the truth. You could be a complete asshole, but you could only love animals and take care of animals. That makes you an ethical vegan. You don't have to side on with any particular political party. You just have to care about the animals. So yes, ideally, of course, it's great if you have a vegan who also cares about the exploited workers and who also cares about the environment and who also cares about people's health. But you cannot call yourself vegan if you don't primarily care about the animals. That's what veganism is about.
You know, it's totally fine. You get a pass for being racist and just being a homophobe, for all of those injustices. You get a pass as long as you're not vegan. But vegans have to be held accountable. So that's kind of what this argument.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So what he's saying is that, you know, there's so many people who are against racism and against homophobia, but somehow they manage to not be vegan. So if these people really believe in intersectionality, then they should all also be vegan. But interestingly, they're not. Even people who are in the movement called Extinction Rebellion, who care about the the planet, they miraculously are not all vegan. It's very strange. I also, just on a side note, still find it really strange that veterinarians are not all automatically vegan. Why is that? How do they justify that? Taking care of animals and then going home and eating them. So bizarre.
Arguments given the message of, and that's what I really found kind of tricky and odd. Now, would you say that a black person who focuses only on BLM, which is Black Lives Matter, and doesn't focus about Jewish rights or gay rights, would you say that would you call that black BLM, Black Lives Matter? Because
great point.
Just simply
very good point, VegCeps. I'm giving you a check mark. Exactly right. Exactly what we were talking about. Many people focus on specific issues and just don't give a shit about anything else. Ideally, we care about everything else. But in politics, it's very interesting. People don't all come from the same perspective. Some people might be vegan and they might be conservative. Some people might be vegan and they might be liberals. And, you know, veganism is about the animals. That is the thing that unites us. The problem is that vegans who care about all these other intersectional things start to argue among each other, and they lose sight of the bigger picture, which is that we are all supposed to be here for the animals.
Caring about their own movement and nothing else. That's the same exact thing you're doing with veganism. Veganism means that you're not contributing to animal abuse and that you're not consuming animals or their secretions in the goal of not harming animals. Now, the first woman in this video who was the collaborator and director of these videos' name is Blair Imani. And what I really didn't like about this is that I did some scrolling through Blair Imani's page, and unfortunately, she is not vegan. I went to her following to see if she was following any animal rights movements or activists or any vegan pages. She was not following any vegan pages whatsoever. Not even the ones that were mentioned in the video, not even the ones that she collabed with. Now, this got me really fired up, as it should all vegans, because this is someone who's publicly trying to say that vegans have to fight about this and that. And I did some scrolling through her page, and I found that she actually was admitting to using and wearing leather. So she sees animals as vanity, just fashion for herself to look good and wear their skin, regardless of the fact that they were abused and killed for nothing other than to be walked around and for her own vanity. This is someone who thinks that she can direct what vegans should do and spend their time doing and on what injustices that they can fight on, when her heart is not even in the right place. She's out here wearing shoes that these animals were abused and killed for. Meanwhile, she's making videos on the internet trying to act like she can determine what white veganism is.
Thank you for bringing this up. Excellent point. Such hypocrisy.
And what vegans should be fighting for, or what they should be doing, despite already fighting for animal rights, which is the biggest injustice. Animal agriculture is the biggest injustice to ever meet the planet. Only in the animal.
Thank you for pointing that out. It's a Holocaust that never ended. What the animals are going through is excruciating. It's unbearable. And worse than that is that people continue this and turn a blind eye to it. Family members, people at work, police officers, teachers, nurses, doctors, people who are psychologists, veterinarians, so many people are just insanely obsessed with themselves that they cannot see the suffering of others. It's absolutely fascinating. And I was listening to a talk by Claire Mann, who's a vegan psychologist. She'd been a psychologist for 30 years, and she still says she does not understand how incredibly blocked people are. Cognitive dissonance is when your head and your heart are not quite aligned. You walk through life and think that you're a good person, but meanwhile you do these terrible things 3 times a day. Pay people with your own money to go and kill animals for you that you then put on your plate, and then you eat them, putting the only one thing that they owned in their entire life, their own body, their life, murdering them. It's unconscionable what we do. And that people who are not even vegan start picking these things apart is just disgusting. Oh, Ella, you dropped your ball. Where's your ball? Nothing like Bella to keep me happy. There she goes, back on the daybed, full of pillows. One day I'll show you.
Animal rights movement, because humans are so inconsiderate, even some vegans, so inconsiderate of animals and will believe this stuff put out. People can get away with this. You can be a human supremacist, someone who wears animals for their own vanity and eats them, steals their milk, their dairy, and contributes to their suffering, can speak publicly on the internet about what veganism is and should be. It's absolutely disgusting. You might as well get Hitler on the internet talking about how Jews should speak up for each other and how they should do their activism and fight against him.
Excellent point. Excellent point. The animals are going through a Holocaust right now. The Holocaust never ended for these innocent animals. They are still torn away from their families, put behind bars, tortured, made to be slaves, and murdered. For what? For taste buds. Just for taste. Why? Why do we let one another get away with this?
You're the one that they're trying to fight against. We're trying to fight against human supremacy. We're trying to fight against animal abuse. And then you come make a post admitting that you were wearing leather, and then you expect to not get called out for that. It's absolutely disgusting.
Hypocrisy.
And it just makes me sad because I see these people and they're so passionate about their own movements.
I find it really interesting that he admits that it makes him sad. It's not too many men who will say that. He's 17 years old, by the way. He lives in Texas. So he's in the United States, and I'm going to be interviewing him soon, actually, because I find him to be so fascinating. You know, people are constantly calling me racist, which is bizarre. They also call me homophobic, and they call me all kinds of names. And the reason that they do that is because they think that this is a way to discredit me. Somebody like him who comes out and says, Miss Katie, you're not racist. It's obvious you're not racist. And then other people who are members of the LGBTQ and say, okay, we know you're not homophobic. It's great to hear that, but it's so bizarre that these rumors continue. Thank you, VegCeps, for speaking out, because if I said the same words as you do, I would be called racist. So it's so important that we shed a light on people in this community who feel this way, who understand that anybody can be vegan, regardless of age, gender, whatever, size. The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics has stated it. You can be vegan at any stage of development. You can be a small child. You can be a teenager. You can be a mother, father, a grandparent. You can be a breastfeeding mother. You can be a pregnant mother. And you can be a 17-year-old black guy from Texas. Okay? Anybody can be vegan. Being vegan is about the animals and doing your best. And anybody can be healthy as a vegan. Just choose the healthy options. Don't eat junk food. Choose good foods for your body. Treat yourself with love. Always imagine that little you is beside you, right here, little 5-year-old you, and feed little 5-year-old you the way that you would feed somebody that you absolutely love. And why not love yourself? You should. You're your own best friend. You'll always be there.
It's like she's LGBTQ, things like that. She speaks about Black Lives Matter. But when it comes to the animals, she's so inconsiderate, and then she uses veganism to try and get more attention drawn to her own movement.
Hypocrisy. Thank you for pointing that out. Absolutely. It's so frustrating. And you know, sadness, when you say that you're sad, VegCeps, I totally understand that. We have such a vegan-phobic world, and many vegans walk around with dystopia, the anguish of being vegan in a non-vegan world. If you want to learn more about it, you can Google Claire Mann, Dystopia. You can buy her book. If it helps you to feel better, it explains what's going on, what dystopia is. I don't know if you're suffering from it, but I am. I find it difficult. The hardest part about being vegan is nothing to do with the food. The hardest part is knowing that we live among people who are like walking zombies, who are so closed-minded, who are so uncaring. Animals feel pain. They want to live. It doesn't seem that difficult to me. When you find out what's happening, when it really hits you, change. Walking down the aisles of the shopping center, you're in the mall, you're in the grocery store, veggies, fruits, nuts, and seeds, put them in your shopping cart. Because peace begins on your plate, so open up your heart. I'm wondering how he became vegan, aren't you? Isn't it fascinating? He's 17, so he's been vegan for 4 years, so he would have been 13. I wonder if his parents are vegan. Who taught him everything? Where did he learn it? I can't wait to have an interview with him.
Movement, while completely disregarding animals and the suffering that they go through and wearing them for her own disgusting vanity. This is something that when I saw, I absolutely cannot let it slide. And even though I do not like posting content that's just bashing toward others, I think it's time that we reclaim this movement and say that it's only for animal rights.
Absolutely. It's not fun to have to call out people. It's terrible. I mean, we would much rather be doing anything else with our time, right? I mean, who wants to do this? I'd rather be out walking my dog right now. But the animals need us. They don't have a voice. They are there by the billions, out of sight. Nobody can see them. They're hidden away in giant factory farms, giant prison camps, suffering in the dark. Chickens that can't even spread their wings in the dark, will never see the sunshine, are behind bars. They live and breathe in their own shit from the day that they are born till the day that they are murdered at 7 weeks of age. And people walk around my neighborhood with dogs while wearing a dog around them, or walk around there with their dogs talking about how much they love their dogs and then go home and eat another animal. How does this make any sense? Cognitive dissonance, disconnect. Of course, I do get it. I was like them. I ate animals too. And the first time somebody told me about it, I was like, okay. I didn't just like change instantly. It takes 100 clicks until you're vegan. It has to get into your heart. It's to go in there and just penetrate. You got to feel for the animals. You got to understand. You got to watch the documentaries, Dominion Movement, Earthlings. You got to understand the science behind it. You got to do some research. Go to howdoigovegan.com. Watch different people who present things like Mike the Vegan. Bella's standing on the edge of the bed. Sweetie, I won't be too much longer, okay?
Because that's what it's always been for. And again, if I were to quit being vegan tomorrow, this is my main question for all the people in that video who she collaborated with. If I were to quit being vegan tomorrow, would I be any less obligated to not be anti-racist or decolonized or anti-imperialist or everything she said? Would I not be obligated to be for all of those movements simply for quitting veganism? So to say that we're obligated to do all this just for being vegan, it's like we're not superheroes. We're just trying to save the animals. That's it. Again, if only speaking about the animals while ignoring every other injustice is white veganism, then only worrying about black rights as a black person supporting BLM, that's black BLM apparently. That's literally what they're saying. That's literally how they're defining these terms. It doesn't make any sense, and it's not something that's well thought out, but rather something that was like a quick little thing to try and pressure vegans to join their movement. And let's be real, no real vegan activist is falling for this, but rather new vegans who jump into the movement and they're being pressured by the media or the internet into trying to support all of these other injustices when the biggest injustice is the animal injustice. And this just proves it, where you can be an abuser of animals, someone who wears animals, and still get away with trying to tell vegans how they should and should not be doing their activism.
It's insane. It's really crazy. Thank you for pointing this out. There's no such thing as white veganism, black veganism, purple veganism, or pink veganism. There's just veganism. Vegan for the animals.
And what things that they should or should not be speaking on. It's absolutely disgusting, and it's definitely something that I was not going to let slide. I think regardless of what you are, you should be against every single injustice. But the fact that Blair Amani is not vegan, she's not against animal abuse. She's not against animal suffering, but rather just uses compassionate vegans who want to save animals to draw attention to her own movement, which is sick, and it's a disgusting tactic that will not slide on my watch. And scrolling through the rest of these people's page, we have Queer Brown Vegan, we have I Loves Life, and we have Sissy Vegan, or I forgot her name, but something around that. None of them post about animal rights specifically. All of their pages, it just looks like a bunch of spiritual stuff and influencer type stuff with pictures of them, their food, but nothing about educating people about the horrors of animal agriculture or animal rights in general. So even though these people might be vegan, they're not animal rights activists. And I think if you're not an animal rights activist, you have no say in what veganism is or what vegans should be fighting.
If you're not an animal rights activist, you're not vegan, as far as I'm concerned. Being an animal rights activist is the least that you can do. How does it help if you are simply just not, let's say, a child abuser, but you see somebody else abusing a child? It's not good enough that you just don't abuse children yourself. You need to speak out against a neighbor, or if you see it happening in front of you. We need to speak out for the poor innocent animals who've never did one single thing wrong to us ever. Our basic moral compass tells us that we must all be vegan and we must be animal rights activists, not just to eat a bunch of plants in our house and not tell people about it. We must tell everybody that we're vegan, and we must try as hard as possible to sound the alarm that these animals are suffering, because if we were the victims, we would want people to do the same for us. If we were behind bars, we would want people to save us. We wouldn't just want people to go, hey, sorry you're behind bars, man, but hey, it's got nothing to do with me, and then walk on. It has something to do with you. And that's why we must have to try all the time, as hard as we can, to do the best that we can by making videos like this, by listening to people, by spreading other people's messages. And that's what I do on my channel. I show many other vegans, I spread the message to non-vegans, and I encourage everybody else to do the same.
But I mean, it just makes me so sad, and not even angry anymore, but it just makes me so sad to see how inconsiderate people are of the animals. That
anger is just a mask for sadness. You can be really angry, but really in the end, what anger is just a deep, incredible sadness. A lack of connection that you feel with the world. So I understand you.
They can just walk around not even caring about them, not even posting about them, and think they can try and scare and white guilt people into speaking up about their injustices. It's absolutely gross and it's absolutely disgusting. But not only speaking up about their injustices, speaking up about their injustices while they're directly supporting animal cruelty, which is exactly what vegans are against. Now, I want Blair Amani to point me to any vegans who are actively supporting the oppression of black people, kind of like how she is the oppression of animals. I want you to show me any public vegan advocate who is doing that. None whatsoever. And if anyone wants to debate this topic, I do live debates on Instagram Live, so if anyone wants to debate this topic, reach out, and I would love to hear why you think white veganism is a term, why you think it exists, because I'm just confused. I've been trying to get people to explain come on a debate with me and explain this whole concept, because it doesn't make sense, and it's definitely not the drama we need in the fight against the biggest oppression to ever meet the planet. So one more time, please do not fall for the white guilt tripping into supporting all of these other movements. Supporting animal rights is enough. It is important to be all of these things, to be against every injustice, but focusing solely on animal rights is perfect. It's the biggest form of discrimination there is, and it needs to be abolished and focused on.
A black man saying that animal rights is the biggest form of discrimination there is. Bella, what is it? Come here, let me get your ball. I'll be right back. One sec. Bella was staring at me with her ball and really wanted me to throw it. Yes. Thank you so much for your speech, VegCeps. I really appreciate it. And I don't even have anything to add. You have an excellent grade. You have a whole bunch of check marks. Let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 check marks. Excellent job. Very proud of you. Very happy that you are speaking out at the age of 17. I hope you continue. And if anybody's not yet following him, this is his name. Follow him on YouTube. Follow him on Instagram. And I will hopefully be able to do an interview with him very soon. I'm trying to work on it for this weekend. And it will be amazing. I can't wait to find out what made this guy tick. What are his parents like? How did he end up being so open-minded and so cool? Whatever he's doing, like, let's find the recipe. And let's spread that recipe so other people can be like him. Yeah. He also has some bunny rabbits. Or at least one I saw him with. And he's, you know, who doesn't like a man who likes a bunny rabbit? And who doesn't like a man who's, like, ladies? Well, actually, I don't know if he's gay or not. But, you know, somebody should be like, you know, this guy is incredible. Like, my God, who wouldn't want this person to be near them? They're, like, he's just got everything in the package. He's just so smart and kind. Like, can't wait to meet him in real life. Looking so forward to it. All right. So thank you for watching, everybody. Don't forget that cow's milk is for baby cows. If you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe to this channel as well. Hit the subscribe button, press the little bell, and when we are here, you guys can ask me questions at the beginning of the interviews. And I just wanted to let you know that we are going to be talking about this book soon, Motivational Methods for Vegan Advocacy, a clinical psychology perspective. I have had this book for a while, but I'm going to look at some interesting excerpts from it, and we're going to talk about them, and I'm going to tell you whether I agree or disagree with them. As you're looking right now, soon there are going to be some things popping up on the screen. These are videos that you can also click on. Click on those videos if you've missed some of them, or scroll back into my timeline here on YouTube and check out stuff that you might have missed from like a long time ago, even like before I was on TikTok. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for being vegan. And don't forget, hug yourself. Big hug. Big squeeze. Why? Because you are your own best friend. You're walking past a mirror, what do? Give yourself a little wink. Okay? Wink to yourself. Because you're your own best friend. So cheer yourself up. Love yourself. Feed yourself well. Whole foods. See you in the next video. Bye for now.